What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me as he does for every Major League Baseball podcast is Luis Barranco. He's coming to you live from, he's already got the red Solo Cup. He's on a bachelor party in Georgia this weekend. I think you said Atlanta last episode. So, Luis, thanks for taking the time on this beautiful Friday morning, early on a Friday morning, to do this podcast.
Indeed, it is very early. Right now, I am running off very seldom sleep as we speak. Not that much sleep as you guys could imagine. Flew in yesterday morning around 5 a.m. in the morning. Went to bed at 2. Had like 8 alarms ready to go for this morning to talk about the glorious happenings in the world of baseball. But, you know, as we always begin the podcast, we need to talk about the weather. I know one of our listeners on YouTube posted, stop doing the weather. Hey, the weather is something you need to plan for on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and Luis is talking a little quietly, obviously, because his friends are still sleeping. So, again, if maybe you got to crank the audio up when Luis is talking, maybe I'll do some editing and post-production to make Luis sound louder. We'll figure it out. But yeah, he's being a little quiet. It's early in the morning. I'm sure you guys went out last night. So yeah, we got a lot to talk to. I think we should probably just get into it. We don't need to talk about the weather. I know that was a point of contention in the comments section last episode. We're not going to talk about it. I think we can hop right in. We got a lot to get to today. MLB recap, of course. The Yankees, they're in shambles right now, it feels like, after another tough series in Toronto. We had a trade. The trade deadline's getting going. We're under a week away from the trade deadline, so we're getting a better picture of who's going to be buying, who's going to be selling. There's been a million rumors floating around, being reported. So I think we got a lot to get to. We have some other things, maybe more personal Columbus Explorers updates that we can get to on Sunday, or I guess it'll probably be Monday when we drop that next one. Yeah, Luis, I think we should probably just dive right into it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the first thing we got to talk about is the lack of Miami Marlins content on the account. Like, again, hottest team in baseball, and William fails to make a clip. I texted him the other day. Also would like to take the time for this podcast to begin. Happy birthday, William. Listeners need to give William his flowers. He is the brains behind the podcast. Without him, there is no clips. There's none of this happening. So everybody, make sure you wish him a happy birthday in the comment section below on the next Yankees and 60s. Wish him a happy birthday. And again, thank you for having me on, like always, and thankful for that. You know, we're friends to this day and we can do this. So cheers.
Thank you, Luis.
And no, this is just Gatorade. It is not anything.
It is too early to be drinking. I appreciate it. Appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, it's fun doing this, of course, and I will post a Marlins clip. Don't worry. It's just there's been so much we've talked about that I feel like I got to get some of the more pertinent stuff. But the Marlins are playing great baseball, and I'm working on a Kyle Stowers thing that I'm going to post maybe this weekend to the socials as well, because he's been great.
Substack article? Is that what we're saying? A Substack article?
No, it's just going to be a TikTok. So before we get into the episode, I guess I should say, if you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, please. We did hit 100 subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you guys so much. We hit our goal for the season. We're going to make a new goal for 150 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm going to say end of the calendar year, not end of the baseball season. But if you guys can do it by the end of the baseball season, that would be great as well. So hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button on our social media. We're doing exclusive content on TikTok. I'm going to start doing that pretty soon. Instagram, we got, exclusive graphics. And then on YouTube, we got exclusive Yankees in 60. And of course, we're posting all our clips from the episodes to all of those various platforms. So yeah, follow us. There's a reason to follow us on every single channel. There's unique content on every single channel. And we appreciate all the support over the past few months. We are very grateful for all of you guys, and we love doing this. We love talking baseball, and I'm excited. I know this feels like it's going to be a big episode given everything that's happened in Yankee land this week, and of course in baseball, the trade deadline being so close. So I'm ready to dive right in. Luis, you want to tee up the Yankee segment?
Do you want to start out with the Yankees today, or do you want to start out with the biggest trade that happened last night?
I think we can start with the Yankees. I feel like the Yankees is a bigger story than the Josh Naylor trade.
Then let's do it, because I have a little personal story with the Josh Naylor trade last night.
Okay.
But regardless, let's crank it off. So as we do always, we talk about the week that was for the New York Yankees. It is the Yankee review every week. We do with our Yankee fan aficionado, Mr. William Locke. He's been a fan since birth. This week, the Yankees played the Toronto Blue Jays in a series for the AL East. The Yankees played the Blue Jays on Monday, where the Blue Jays won 4-1. And they won Wednesday 8-4, winning the series two games out of 3. On Tuesday, Yankees won 5-4. Very frustrating series, as we saw on Twitter land. Twitter was going absolutely crazy, and you saw the errors, the 7 errors in the 3 games. You had Max Fried with the bloody finger. Wednesday, you had 4 errors, and the Yankees only got 5 hits. And Carlos Rodon threw 40 pitches in an inning. It was quite the week between that and then the comments that we had on John Boy Media with Aaron Boone coming on. So I'll take it away, William. 2 out of 3 for the Blue Jays, right on the eve of the trade deadline. How are we feeling?
It feels like we're essentially in the exact same spot we were a few weeks ago when the Yankees got swept in Toronto, when a lot of these flaws were being exposed, the bad defense, the poor base running, a lot of boneheaded decisions, the inability to hit with runners in scoring position. I guess this series was a little bit better than the 4-game set we had in Toronto, because in that one we got swept. In this one, they did win the game on Tuesday. Ben Rice with the clutch home run in the 9th inning. Good moment for him. Unfortunately, is going to go completely unnoticed, unremembered, because of the way they played on Wednesday with the 4 errors. You had the Fried. There was Fried had 2, Jason had 1 in left. You also had Bellinger misplaying the ball in right field. That technically wasn't an error, but he totally lost it. Like, this is my thing with the Yankees, and I've said it in the past episode. It was the episode we did 2 weeks ago after the 4th, the holiday recap episode. Like, there is just an organizational arrogance with this team, this organization more specifically, where they think they can just forget about the important things in defense. And they told us this last offseason. They tried to address the defense thing because they got embarrassed in the playoffs in the World Series with the poor defense, the 5th inning in Game 5. They tried to address it. You got Bellinger in the outfield. You got Goldschmidt at first. You're moving Jazz Chisholm over to second base because he's a better defender at second base than he is at third. And, they look good right away early in the season. But then you bring back DJ, and he is a shell of himself, and they moved Jazz to third, and then the defense kind of just went to hell. You got Jason in left field, who's not a good defender. And this is the thing with the Yankees. Like, it's been essentially different variations of the same team since, I would say, 2018, really in the Boone era. They can't play defense. They can't run the bases. They're going to strike out a ton, but they hit a lot of home runs. And guess what? You can get away with not playing good defense, not being able to move guys over, not being able to, get a bunt down, the little things. You can get away with not doing the little things well in the regular season because you can just outslug teams. And the Yankees are always in the top 5 in OPS and home runs because they have Aaron Judge, they have Giancarlo Stanton, they have guys like Jazz Chisholm who can hit for power. They can hit the long ball, and that can kind of paper over the cracks in the regular season because some games you're just going to outslug dudes. And that happened on Tuesday when Ben Rice hit the clutch home run in the 9th inning. It happens a lot of games where you see them just score 10 plus runs and things are firing. But when you get to the playoffs, when the game is a lot tighter, you're playing better teams, you're facing better pitchers, the games are a lot closer, and the little things are magnified. That's where it really comes back to bite you. And I know it's not the playoffs right now, but it's already biting the Yankees in the regular season. And if they were to make the playoffs this year, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same story. They'll lose in the DS, the CS, because they can't play defense and they don't do the little things right. It's frustrating as a Yankee fan to see the same team being run out there every single year. The only reason the Yankees made the World Series last season is because they had Juan Soto. That was the differentiator between all the teams between 2018 and 2025, is that last year they had 2 of the top 5 players in the league. Juan Soto hit a bunch of clutch home runs in the playoffs, bunch of clutch hits, and that's why they made the World Series. This year they don't have them. They're not going to make the World Series. They don't do the little things right. And it's just the same old story over and over and over again with this team. And then we're getting gaslit. And Luis, sorry, I'm going on for so long here, but I just feel like I got a lot to get off my chest. We're getting gaslit by the manager. He goes on the podcasts that he does with Talkin Yanks. Good podcast. They do a great job covering the Yankees. I don't know why he signed that contract or why the Yankees signed that contract to go on that podcast, because what is he going to get out? What are the Yankees going to get out of that? Right. I understand why John Boy wants to do it. Of course, it's a great opportunity to grow the podcast, have Aaron Boone on. People are going to tune in for that episode. The clips go super viral, but and it makes no sense for him to go on. What did the Yankees gain from that? And he goes on there, he gets angry with the hosts, and he gets a little snippy. All the clips go viral. Then post game, we're getting gaslit every single day. He's saying Anthony Volpe's a good defender. He's saying the Yankees are a good defensive team, and it's like I just feel crazy. Like do they think the Yankees have two eyes, or do they think the Yankee fans don't have two eyes? Like, you don't even need two eyes. You can have one eye that's half blind, and you can see that the Yankees aren't good defensively. Like, why are you telling us that the Yankees are a good defensive team? It's mind-numbing. I know you want to protect your players, but you don't have to blatantly lie. And you're allowed to express some sense of frustration to the media. But he doesn't. It doesn't matter what these guys do. He's always going to defend the players. And I get it. He's a players manager, and it's not their job to appease the fans. It's not. But you're just going to increase the pressure on your own players by defending them the way they are, by the way he is in Aaron Boone. Because if you just said, yeah, we understand Volpe hasn't been great. He's got to do better. He's made a few errors. We still trust him. Okay, that's fine. The fan base won't freak out. But when you go out and say that Anthony Volpe is a good defender, an elite defender, you say you're a good defensive team, then the fan base is going to lose their mind, and that's just going to ratchet up the pressure on the team, on the organization, and you're going to continue to get these leading questions from reporters. So I don't think Boone is doing himself any favors by saying these, by essentially, I would say, lying to reporters. It's a very frustrating week. It feels like if the Yankees lose a series in the division, Twitter goes crazy. We have podcasts like this where we're freaking out, but they're just not a good team right now. And I'm sorry, end rant. That was like 5 minutes of me talking. This is a two-man podcast. So, Luis, I'll let you respond.
It's a 2-minute podcast, is what we're saying. Yeah, but I mean,
two-man
podcast. Can we give Toronto some credit? Like, let's talk about the development system. I mean, for the Yankees, you always get these guys like Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, and what do they turn out to be? Like,
yeah,
what are they? What are they?
What are they?
Yeah, what are they?
Bad defensive players that are inconsistent at the plate.
Overhyped, more so.
Yeah, overhyped for sure.
And I mean, like guys like Addison Barger, like the dude just is nuclear Ernie Clement. And like, look at their roster. A lot of homegrown guys that weren't like big prospects, but to just fit the roster correctly. Like they have their like main pieces in Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kirk, and then they have their pitchers, and then they have a bunch of guys that they've gone around and filled in. So just you have to give a lot of credit to that. What I feel about the Yankees as well is I feel like there's an organizational disconnect. There's a disconnect, like I said, between the fans and the organization. Like, why is Boone going on this podcast? Like, I think Boone's kind of like had it because you have to be professional in that setting, and to just lose it on John Boy. He didn't lose it, but
he got snippy.
And then you had like people ex-players defend Boone, like Cameron Maybin was defending him. So it's just like there's like the side of the fans, and then there's the side of the organization. Like there's something going on there.
Yeah, it's frustrating as a fan because you see other organizations, other fan bases, they're not always perfect and in harmony. The Red Sox have had a tough relationship with their Red Sox fans have had a tough relationship with their front office over the past almost decade at this point. But there are some where, I think the fans are generally happy with the organization. I feel like, the Brewers, of course, their fans would wish they would spend more, but I feel like they're always pretty happy with the way the product they put out on the field every single season. The Phillies, I feel like the Phillies fans don't really go after their organization. So there are some examples where, the fan base and the organization are all kind of on the same page. It just feels like every single year the Yankees are always in this brutal battle with the organization, the fan base, the organization, they just don't get along. And now it's really coming to a head, I feel like, with Boone. I mean, he's the leader, because we don't see Cashman speak to the media every single day, right? We don't see Hal really ever talk to the media. It's like once or twice a season. So Boone's the dude that's answering questions from reporters every single day. He's kind of the face of the Yankee front office. I know he's not technically in the front office, but he's the kind of the face of the business side of the operation, if you will, because the players are the players, and then Boone is a coach. He's more on that organizational side of things, and he's answering questions from the media every single day. And the way he speaks frustrates fans. So will he ever get fired? Probably not. I think he could go 40 and he could win 40 games in a season and probably retain his job. The Yankee organization loves him and the players love him. I mean, I know why the players love him. It's because he doesn't hold them accountable, at least the way he portrays it to the media.
Well, look what just happened. Look how Aaron Boone's getting defended by Cameron Maybin and ex-players after what he said. That shows you all you need to know. And I mean, I'm gotten to the point this season with this team where I don't want to talk about them, and it's getting to okay, what are they going to do that's going to make them drastically different? It's going to change the outcome of the season. Okay, you pick up a right-handed bat, third baseman, probably better defensively than whatever you're putting out there, or better offensively. But what does that change? Does it fix the bullpen? Does it fix the inconsistency? Does it fix the shortstop position? Does it cure that?
No, that's what I feel the exact same way. I'm honestly sick of watching this team this year because I know how it's going to end. It's the same story as it has been the past 10 years, basically. If they make the playoffs, they'll lose some boneheaded way in the playoffs. And it'll be another frustrating offseason. And then we'll convince ourselves by January, February that, the offseason has given us a chance to win next year. It's just kind of the same cycle over and over again. And I totally agree. I don't think there's anything the Yankees can do at the trade deadline that is going to take them from where they are now to winning the American League or being the favorites in the American League. I know the odds might say they're the favorites right now in the American League still. Last time I checked, they're like the second or third odds on favorite to win the World Series, which is just crazy to me. But I don't think there's anything they can do between now and next Thursday that's going to say, yeah, that team, they fixed their issues. They're all of a sudden, they're a really good defensive team. They're going to be able to hit with runners in scoring position. The bullpen is fixed. The bullpen is deep now. There's nothing they can do. And Suárez is going to require a king's ransom. It's I don't think we should trade any of the top three prospects. It seems like Lombard's untouchable, they said. Spencer Jones is, every time I open Twitter, he's hitting another home run. He's been absolutely on a tear. I think that's a really tough decision for Cashman is, does he trade Spencer Jones if he really wants to go after it this season? But then you run the risk of Spencer Jones turning into the next great power bat at the major league level. And, you traded him for a rental. And it's wow, Cashman, from his perspective, it's wow, I look really dumb there trading Jones at the deadline when he's amidst the hottest stretch of his career. And is it worth trading one of these top guys for a team that might not be that good, might not be a true World Series contender? It's a very tough decision for Cashman. I don't think you can trade Jones at this point. Schlittler's shown me enough that I don't think you can trade him either. So what do you get at the deadline for your kind of second tier prospects? So it's
well, my thing is just what are you going to do trading the prospects? You trade for the prospects, you do, and then what? I've said it before, to build a foundational contender, you have to have some homegrown prospects. You have to have the homegrown. You use trades and free agency to fill in the gaps. Perfect example, go look at how Theo Epstein built the Cubs title team that broke the curse. The whole team was homegrown bats that came up through the system, and then they got arms that were filled in by free agency and via trade. John Lester and Aroldis Chapman. You have to build a stable foundation to get to where you want to go. And again, like you said, what are we going to do? You're going to make all these trades, and then what? Where are we going? What is Eugenio Suárez going to do? 2 months of Eugenio Suárez, what is he going to do?
Yep. I question for you.
What's up?
Can you name? I don't think you'll be able to. The last time.
So
It's a deep cut. the last time, can you name the last time the Yankees won a playoff series against a non-American League Central team? Playoff series. Wild card game does not count because that's a one-game thing.
Probably since the World Series teams. Probably
Close.
since 09. 09.
Close.
I have no idea.
The Yankees have not won a playoff series against a non-American League Central team since 2012 when they beat the Baltimore Orioles in 5 games in the division series. And that's my thing with this team. Every single year, it's the same story. If they're playing Central teams in the playoffs, they'll win. They'll beat up on the Twins. They'll beat up on the Guardians. They'll beat up on the Royals. They love doing that. Typically, generally speaking, the weaker teams in the playoffs, right? Compared to those Astros teams that were so good, compared to the Red Sox teams in the playoffs in 2018 or 2021 when they were really good, right? They'll beat up on the Central teams, but they won't beat the actually, top tier American League teams. And last year made the World Series. Why'd they make the World Series? Because they played the Royals and the Guardians, two, if we're being totally honest, kind of forgettable teams, right? They weren't going up against any juggernaut in the American League last year. They also had Juan Soto. That's the reason they made the World Series last year compared to the past, 7 years under Boone before that.
But can we stop giving all the credit to Juan Soto? Like, think about it this year. Cody Bellinger's having just as good of a year as Juan Soto. Yeah, it's 2 different bats and it's 2 different ways to pitch. But I don't think it's a Juan Soto issue. I just think it's a team building issue where we've seen the same build year on and years go by and by and by.
Right. Same build, same team that can beat the Central teams, but they won't beat the elite teams. Like, they're not going to go out in the playoffs and, I don't know, beat the Astros or beat the Blue Jays. I mean, can you imagine a Blue Jay series? Can't beat that team to save our lives this season. Can you imagine the Yankees? I know it wouldn't happen right now because they're in the National League. I mean, it would only happen in the World Series. But can you imagine the Yankees playing the Brewers in a postseason series? A team that does everything right? The Rays?
I think they'd be fine versus the Brewers, but I just think, I don't think this team, I don't know, going against Canada would be big. Just that fan, I just think about it putting in an environment like Canada.
They can't win in that building. It's a fortress.
Well, it's a whole freaking country versus one city.
It's a game played on a field, though.
It is, but I mean, it's just I just think again, when you look at this team, there's just too many black holes.
Yeah.
And again, I say this again. I thought about it the other day on the flight when I was doing the document or prep doc. I was like, okay, you get a Key Brian Hayes or a Ryan McMahon, which we don't know who they want because Jack Curry came out and said, oh yeah, the Yankees are not showing interest in X, Y, Z. And I'm like, okay, then who is this third baseman that they're randomly going to pick out of a rabbit's hat?
Mm-hmm.
If it's not one of those, okay, you get Eugenio Suárez, but what is he going to do offensively? Are we going to be putting up 10 runs and then giving up 11? At this point, just sim to end season. At this point, let's just get to the playoffs and see what happens. I mean,
if they even make the playoffs,
they're going to make it. I mean, you need to stop doing if they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make it. They're still a good team. They're still better than all of the Central, barring the Tigers, and they're still better than all of the East, barring maybe Tampa. I'll put them Tampa on the same level.
They're not as good as Toronto.
So, well, I'm already assuming Toronto's above right now. I want to see what happens after the deadline. Let's put it that way. Let's see. The season starts in Miami next weekend.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. But I mean, like I said, I don't know what they're going to do. But, hey, we'll see what happens in a week. They got Philadelphia this weekend. I don't expect them to beat Philadelphia. I expect it to be a complete bloodbath.
It's going to be bad. Luckily, it's T1 Walker tonight versus Will Warren, so that's a winnable game. But then you get Ranger Suarez on Saturday against Marcus Stroman, and then Zach Wheeler against Carlos Rodon on Sunday. So could be a long weekend for the Yankees.
They might get swept. If we get we might get a classic. We either get West Coast Willie, or we get a classic Will Warren, 4 1/3. 6 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts.
If they get swept, they'll be 7 games over 500. And, I mean, the division could very well be over because the Blue Jays can't lose right now. They just won in Detroit again last night. So I don't know. Did you see the O'Neal Cruz rumors that the Yankees are interested in O'Neal Cruz?
Why?
Why?
It makes no sense. It's just like I'm about to go on a rant here, and this is just sports in general. But right now in baseball, I have a clear issue with over athletic, shortstops like the O'Neal Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz's, just jumbo, uber athletic shortstops that don't do fundamentals and don't play. I'm not saying they don't play the right way, but that just like it's literally like when NBA teams draft guys like Giannis that are just super athletic and just throw them on the court and just like, hey, figure it out. Like, no, you have to learn how to field. You have to learn how to run the base pass well. You have to learn how to track a ball in the outfield. Like, no. What is O'Neal Cruz going to do to this team? Even worse. They already have a lot of errors. Putting O'Neal Cruz is going to make it worse. And adding another, not saying that he's a bad apple, but there's always been issues with him with his attitude. You remember earlier in the year that he just basically quit on that ball in center field. I think it was the Yankee series. So let's put him in. I can only imagine how New York media would treat this guy after just missing a routine pop-up or not being able to make a play.
Yeah. I don't know how much validity there is to the rumor, but I agree totally. It's like, how could the Yankees watch what happened in Toronto this week and say, we need O'Neal Cruz, a guy, or we have interest in O'Neal Cruz, a guy that can't play good defense, doesn't try on defense, has clear effort issues. We've seen it this season multiple times. He got pulled, taken out of a game for lack of effort. Sometimes he, lollygags balls in center field, or he doesn't run out balls at first base. Doesn't play good defense in center. Already have enough outfielders, but it's like essentially not a good fundamental baseball player. How could you watch what happened in Toronto this week and say, we need more of that on our roster? I get, the Yankees have an obsession with dudes that are oversized, Aaron Judge, Spencer Jones, but aren't good at the fundamentals. They're going to strike out a ton. I mean, Aaron Judge, he's fine. He's good. He's not a player that I would say is not good at the fundamentals of the game. But there are players on this team. There are players on this team that struggle with the fielding and everything and running the bases. O'Neal Cruz would be another one of those dudes added to the roster. It doesn't really make sense to me.
They have a type. Let's put it that way. There's a clear type for the New York Yankees. Over tall, athletic dudes that need more development. Now, my next thing, rate the week that was.
D. I mean, I guess you win the game on Tuesday, so that avoids being a total F, but D. Division could be almost over at this point.
Division could be almost over, potentially. I mean, who does Toronto have this weekend?
Detroit. They just won last night.
Oh, wow.
11-4.
And Detroit's playing like doo-doo. But let's go ahead and talk about the deadline. I mean, I think we had a big move last night. We're going to go talk about some series that need to get highlighted for the deadline watch. I mean, deadline's only less than a week away, next Thursday, the 31st. Let's talk about the big trade that was Josh Naylor to the Mariners. Got the passing bomba at dinner last night. My phone went off 2 or 3 times. After we did the toast for my buddy who is getting married, my phone starts going off, and I was like, "Oh my god, passing bomba!" I literally felt like one of the how it would feel getting a text like, "Oh, this person got traded," and I have to report it. I literally had to stand up and go out of the restaurant and literally look who got traded, what happened. Because it was just Josh Naylor a week away from the deadline. It's pretty early. I would imagine you would wait a little more, maybe get a little more value. And they only got 2 prospects back, and there wasn't top guys. I understand he's a rental, but I kind of feel like we do have to preface this that this kind of sets the market in a way. If you're getting 2 mid-tier, and I'm saying mid-tier and quotations because every team has their own evaluation process and likes and dislikes of a player. If you're getting 2 mid-tier arms, we're talking 10 to 20 in your organizational system. What is Eugenio Suárez going to fetch up? If you're getting 2, it's probably going to be 4 or 3, which from a quantity-wise is a lot, but quality-wise, I don't know. It presents the question. I mean, shout out to Mariners for going for it. I mean, there's a lot of teams that wouldn't make that move and take the risk of Josh Naylor for 2 months. But I mean, if you re-sign him, that Mariners have another bat to that core, and they're gonna basically push it for Cal Raleigh's MVP. Or you got Cal Raleigh now, Naylor, Julio. They're building something, but the thing is like, does it push the needle to me?
It's a good addition. It addresses a weak point in that roster. They were running out Luke Raley at first base this season, which he hasn't been great. And it was, I think, a needed move for them. They also need to go out and get a third baseman because they got Ben Williamson out there, who has been struggling this season at the plate as well. He's a decent defender, but Naylor, 292 batting average on the season, 11 home runs, 807 OPS, strong numbers. He doesn't strike out, 93rd percentile in strikeout rate, only strikes out 12% of the time. So that's always good to have in your lineup. He's going to square the ball up where he has his weakness. He doesn't hit the ball super hard. He doesn't necessarily barrel it up. He doesn't hit it hard. The average exit velocity is low. He's going to walk. He's not going to strike out. And I think that's a good bat in your lineup to have. Probably, I would think they'd slot him in behind Randy. So it goes Cal, Randy, and Josh Naylor. That's a tough stretch in your lineup, kind of a meaty middle stretch of the lineup that in the playoffs, when the games are magnified and the pressure is on, Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena, and Josh Naylor, that's a tough three to get through. If you throw Julio Rodriguez in there, which, we'll see what we get from him in the second half of the season. He seems to always turn it on. You throw Julio in front of Cal, and that's a tough stretch of the lineup for any pitcher to navigate. It's righty, switch hitter, righty, lefty. I like that. I like that it's a lefty bat. And then you have Jorge Polanco after that. And, kind of the second half of the lineup is a little weak for them. But we know the story with the Mariners and their pitching staff. It's going to be there in the playoffs. Logan Gilbert had a really good start this week. I like the move for Seattle. I think if they make another move, maybe to go trade for a third baseman, this team is in the conversation for World Series contenders in the American League. And they still very well could be right now. With the pitching staff and with the MVP candidate they have in Cal Raleigh. But I like this move for them. It could have been a little bit of an overpay. I can't remember what account it was. But essentially, they value every prospect and every player, and they put a monetary value on them, and they said it was an overpay by Seattle. So I don't know. I think 2 mid-tier prospects for a rental and Josh Naylor, a guy that could theoretically help you get over the hump in the American League, or maybe win a series in the American League playoffs. I like it. I think it's a good move for Seattle.
But prospects are prospects. At the end of the day, we could be here 5 years from now, and we could look at these prospects and be like, oh, what happened to this prospect? He's out of the game. Or they can become Jordan Alvarez in the sense that, player to be named later just becomes an absolute, demon. Mm-hmm. So it's just like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm kind of in the boat, okay, you get Naylor. Well, I still don't know what do you do with that team, because they always leave a lot to be desired. Like, you go look at Houston, and Houston with all of those injuries and whoever they put out, they still win. And you can look at the teams on paper right now between Houston and Seattle. Seattle has more talent, but why doesn't Seattle win just as good as Houston? That's just my question.
It could be, it's hard to narrow it down to one thing, but it could be the fact that they just play in such a tough ballpark to hit in. Despite the talent that they have in the lineup, it's always going to be mitigated a little bit because it's the toughest ballpark to hit in the whole league.
Let's see if Naylor doesn't forget how to hit. Definitely. But shout out, like I said, shout out to Seattle for making a move, pushing it. We value that. The market value, first domino has fallen. The market value has been set. Suárez will probably go for 3 to 4 pitching prospects right now, as we said. You're going to always have to overpay at the deadline, and especially in this new modern MLB where you don't have you have the expanded playoffs and there's not as many sellers. So your bats are going to be required for a large haul, in my opinion.
Yeah, Suárez is going to get them a huge haul, and that deal is probably going to take a lot longer. That's probably going to be a deal that gets pushed through on deadline day or Wednesday maybe, because a lot more negotiating is going to be going on between teams than what happened with Josh Naylor. So we'll see. Good series, poor series for Arizona this week. They got swept against the Astros, and it seems like now they're going to be for sure sellers. I think that report came out yesterday that they're going to be selling all the way. I saw a tweet yesterday, I think it was from Underdog MLB, saying that they're trying to sell like 5 or 6 more guys, which, I mean, you can name the ones that we've talked about all season: Merrill, Zach Gallen, Eugenio Suárez. That's 3. Is it a couple guys in the bullpen? Is it a surprise guy? They already extended Perdomo and Marte. I don't think they're going to trade those guys. That would be crazy, but we'll see. I could still see them getting hot, getting on a run, but now that they're deciding to sell, it seems like that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, perfect segue to how they're doing right now. They're 15-53 as of Friday morning, 10 games back of the division. Cardinals and Reds have surpassed them. Marlins, we're on that tail. We're right there. We're coming. Don't worry. We're only 2 games behind them. So it is what it is. I mean, let's talk about the series that was for them this week. Review them.
Mm-hmm.
They played Houston. They got swept. The white flag has been put out in Arizona. And it's sad, unfortunate. And it'll be very interesting to, like, in the offseason for us to look at Arizona as a case study, as to see like how to build a team. And a lot of people on Twitter and MLB media were mentioning that, they went the route of acquiring pitchers through free agency rather than developing homegrown arms. And now they're kind of switching into that homegrown arms process and developing through their minor league system instead of going and giving these contracts for like Erod, Jordan Montgomery, and Corbin Burns. So very interesting to see and investigate that and see that in the offseason. But Houston keeps on winning with these patchwork teams that they keep putting out. They lead the league with the most players on the injured list, and they just find a way. And as of now, they are in first place of the West. They're going to run away with it right now. They're 5 games in front of Seattle. Will be very interesting to see what they look healthy and if they can keep it up.
Yep. Houston won 6-3 on Monday. Zach Gallen pitched for the Diamondbacks, actually hit his 1,000th career strikeout, 6 innings, 6 earned for him. Not a great start. I think they kind of left him out there a little bit longer just to for any trade scouting situation going on there. Bryce Matthews, 2 home run night for the Astros, his first 2 career home runs. Eugenio Suárez hit his 36th home run of the season in that game. Josh Hader picked up his 26th save, but story there was Bryce Matthews, 2 for 4, 2 homers, 5 ribbies. Then on Tuesday, the Astros won 3-1. Framber, 7 innings, 1 earned run. He's down to a 2.67 ERA on the season. Continues to be one of the most underrated pitchers, honestly, in the American League. I think he could be in that Cy Young conversation, not necessarily to win it, but to pick up some votes and finish somewhere in the voting. Erod went 6 1/3 scoreless on Tuesday, but Jake Woodford blew the game for Arizona in the 8th. Bryce Matthews, 2-run homer, made it 2-1 Astros. His third homer of the season and of his career. The Astros went 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position and still won. The D-backs had the bases loaded with no outs in the bottom of the 9th, down 3-1, and did not score. It was a strikeout by Blaze Alexander and then a huge double play in the 9th inning for the Astros to get the win. And then on Wednesday, the Astros picked up a 4-3 win. Brandon Walter, 7 innings, 1 earned run. Ketel Marte did homer. Christian Walker went 2 for 5 in his return to Arizona, 2 for 5 with a ribby on Wednesday. A single from Walker in the 9th off Kevin Ginkel gave the Astros a 4-3 lead. So 2 winnable games for the Diamondbacks, but they lost both of them. Josh Hader picked up yet another save, his 27th of the season. And right, D-backs got swept. Astros picked up the sweep.
And the white flag has been put out. Let's talk about another series. Let's talk about the biggest series of the week. Your locked sports weekend lock. The Miami Marlins. What did I say they were going to do? Winning 2 out of 3 against San Diego. Marlins won on Tuesday 4-3. Kyle Stowers, as you said, the clip's coming. He has been raking, hitting doubles, homers. He's been the catalyst for the Miami Marlins. And then Wednesday, they won 3-2. And then we won another series down in Miami. Sandy Alcantara, and potentially last start at home, he went 7 strong on Wednesday. 4 hits, 1 run given up, no earned, but 4 strikeouts and 98 pitches. Let's talk about how good the Marlins are. Again, William refuses to make a clip. He says we get no views, but instead he makes an ace clip and posts it on that day. I think that is a slap in the face and an insult to Miami Marlins fans around the globe. Our community is large and strong, and we do believe we will take legal action against the podcast soon if there's no clip posted on the pages, the socials.
The Marlins have been playing great baseball. There's no denying it. You call it. I mean, they won 2 out of 3 here. The Padres continue to struggle against teams above 500. They're 23-33 against teams above the 500 mark. This was, the Marlins aren't 500. They're not above 500. They're getting there, though. They're only 6 games back in the National League wild card right now, which they're creeping up on Arizona, as you mentioned. Could they find themselves in a situation where we're in the middle of August, early September, and the Marlins are only 3 games out? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility because you got dudes.
Wow.
What?
Finally, you're like giving us credit.
Well, that doesn't mean they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think it would be crazy if they actually had a chance at it toward the end of the season. Stowers is producing. They got good pitchers in Yuri Perez and Eduardo Cabrera. Jansen Junk's been good for them. Yeah, I mean, Bendix, that trade kind of worked out for both sides, the Stowers trade, because Trevor Rogers has had some pretty good starts for Baltimore this season, but Stowers, what he's doing day in, day out for that roster, for that lineup has been exciting. So yeah, the Marlins are actually kind of a fun team to watch this season. It's really like, if you're a casual fan, it's probably a bunch of people you've never ever heard of in the lineup, even in the pitching rotation outside of Sandy Alcantara. But they're solid. There's no denying it that the Marlins are a solid baseball team this season. Be curious to see how they or what they do moving forward. And I think they've kind of officially reached the point where you don't want to trade with the Marlins under Peter Bendix because you're probably going to lose that trade.
I'm telling you, the statue's coming. Low Depot Park statue with Peter Bendix. I'm telling you, it's just a great, great core. And I feel this team is we're going to learn a lot about them in the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely this weekend, big series against Milwaukee. After we get Milwaukee, we get the Cardinals, and then the Yankees come to town, and then we get the Astros back-to-back series. So big 2 week and a half for us. We'll see. Again, don't trade with us. We'll probably take away some analytics, darling, and we're going to ball out. Just know that. Just know.
Any worries about the Padres? I saw that the Yankees were interested in Jake Cronenworth. I don't know how much truth there is to that rumor. They're interested in Dylan Cease.
Well, I wanted to touch on that. I think the whole Padres situation is, again, like, they can't beat good teams, but I think the whole thing with San Diego is that they're very top heavy, and then they're not good at those positions that they're empty at.
Catcher, left field, second base has been a kind of a struggle bus for them this season with Cronenworth. Yeah, they got the star power.
Yeah, they do, but then the whole thing is like, okay, you might move Dylan Cease because he is under he doesn't have team control. He's a free agent. He's a Boris client. Then they made a lot of money. You already are paying Xander, and who else you paying other than Xander?
Tatis, Machado,
paying all those guys, and
Cronenworth has a bad contract at this point. Sneakily, not even sneakily.
You got to get creative again to like get players and get talent on that roster. So you may have to move one of the bigger fish that doesn't have team control.
Mm-hmm.
Get things back because the farm isn't great, and then after you get those pieces, you flip it for MLB talent. That's why, again, Boston and San Diego line up so well, because San Diego wants to make a move for MLB talent, and then Boston has that need for a starter. And what does Boston have? A lot? MLB talent, so they can just do the flip. Do I believe the Yankees and Dylan Cease is a fit? No, I think that's the last thing they want. Do I think the Mets do it? No, I don't think that's a Mets move. Like, I think the Mets are going to end up picking up some not low end, but
Adrian Hauser.
Adrian Hauser, Andrew Heaney's of the world. That's their type of move. That's just what I believe.
They believe in their pitching development system, I think, at this point. It is interesting with the Padres, the whole story on them, and we talked about them in our preview podcast before the season. Everyone thought they were going to be moving on from one of their, controllable pieces before the season to move off some money, but that didn't happen. They were all in. They're going to be all in at the deadline. It seems like they're always all in.
They always have to be all. They're stuck being all in because of the way the roster's built.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can never not go all in unless you decide to nuke it. But then when you decide to nuke it, there's who's going to take those contracts? Think about it.
No, nobody's taking the Bogarts deal. Maybe the Machado deal, but he is 33. Tatis would be the one, I think, but nobody's taking on that Jake Cronenworth contract. And of course, the Padres would be most reluctant to trade Tatis. Like that would just be ridiculous from them and would alienate the fan base. It's one of those kind of trades. I think the Luka Doncic trade has done irreparable damage on GMs and front offices. And now this might sound silly, but like, even if, Luka's kind of an outlier because he's a top 5 player in the league, but I feel like organizations in general coming out of the Luka trade are just going to be more hesitant to make that blockbuster trade, to trade one of their top 2 players because of the backlash they might receive from the fan base. We saw what the Mavericks fans did after they traded Luka. If the Padres were to trade one of their top guys and a Tatis and Machado to move off the money, Tatis maybe not, but Machado specifically to move off some of that money, I think there would be backlash because it's a clear message like we're cutting cost here. We're maybe gonna. It's not necessarily like we're not trying to win type of move, but I do think there's some hesitancy. I don't think we're going to see any huge trades at the deadline. Like we already saw that Paul Skeens is off the market as he should be. Like the Pirates aren't going to trade him anytime soon. They know the fan base would go crazy. The Guardians will probably never trade J-Ram because they know the fan base would lose its mind. They're also playing really good baseball right now. But I do think that Luka trade will like kind of live in the deep recesses of every GM's mind when they approach a mega blockbuster type of trade.
Well, both teams are playing good baseball. Let's talk about it. I mean, Pirates clean sweep with the Detroit Tigers. Let's talk about it. Paul Skeens was elite on Monday. Danny Santana with the hold. Bednar with another hold with a save. Bednar has been pitching elite. Tuesday, Mitch Keller, another decent start. They won 8-5. 3-hit nights for pretty much the whole team. For Horowitz, Brian Reynolds, Tommy Pham for Pittsburgh. And then Wednesday, they won 6-1. I mean, my question to you is, William, can Paul Skeens win the Cy Young with a lack of wins? That's what I think what's holding a lot of people back in regards to starting like him winning the Cy Young, because he doesn't have the wins or the big, we expect Paul Skeens to do Paul Skeens things. It's kind of like LeBron. Like, okay, LeBron, you can put up 27, 8, and 9 a night. We need more. So do you think he can win without the wins?
I don't value the wins, frankly, at all in pitching statistics and in Cy Young races. What I do value and what I do think is going to ultimately swinging the National League Cy Young race this year is innings pitched. Right now, Wheeler actually has one less start than Skeens, but he has one more inning pitched. And we've seen the Pirates already kind of limiting Paul Skeens' pitch counts. He's in this, pitching 5 innings in the 70 to 80, sometimes 90, but rarely 90 for the past 5 starts or so. Like he's not pitching a lot of innings and he's not throwing a lot because they're trying to save him for next season. Fair enough. I do think that's where Zach Wheeler's going to come in. He's on a playoff team. He's on a team that's pushing for a division race with the Mets right now. Like Wheeler's going to be out there every single start as long as he stays healthy, and he's going to be pitching, if he can, deep into games. So I think that's where right now I probably got Wheeler over Skeens. I think when the season ends, we're going to see Wheeler with a significant amount of innings more than Paul Skeens, and I think that's why he's ultimately going to win the Cy Young this season. So to answer your question, no, I don't really value wins, but I do value innings pitched. even if Skeens finishes with a lower ERA, I think it's more impressive what Wheeler's doing for a good team, pitching more innings, and that's why he's my Cy Young.
And that's a perfect segue. Let's talk about Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia played in Boston. Crazy series. I was watching the Monday night game. Phillies won 3-2 off a catcher's interference in the 11th. Wheeler went 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned, and 10 strikeouts. I think Boston fans are sick because for you to have the opportunity to win that series, the Zach Wheeler game, and not being able to do it, that's a big deal. Tuesday, Christopher Sanchez. Like, can we talk about how good he's been? His changeup is probably one of the best changeups in the game. I think it's the best changeup. He just peppers you with the changeup. Like, you know it's coming, and people keep swinging at it. He pitched in a complete game, 4 hits, 1 earned, 12 strikeouts. Again, incredible. Kyle Schwarber seems like he listens to the podcast, just boosting that resume because he hit a home run 33 on Tuesday as the Red Sox slide continued. And then on Wednesday, the Red Sox won the last game of the series where they won 9-8. Gallardo. I was thinking about Giovanni Gallardo from the Milwaukee Brewers, but it was Lucas Giolito and Jesus Luzardo struggled mightily in both starts, and their starts on Wednesday. Schwarber hit homer 34, and then Romy Gonzalez hit a homer again that day.
Yeah, so, Romy Gonzalez had a clutch grand slam. Actually, it was in the 5th. They scored 6 in that inning, and that gave them the lead. Went to extra innings. Narvaez hit a 2-run homer in the 11th, and that was the difference. You also had career home run number 350 for Bryce Harper. Bryson Stott had a home run in this game. He was in the lineup after his wife delivered their baby the prior night at like 3:30 a.m. So impressive feat from Stott. But the Red Sox did win that Wednesday game 9-8 in 11 innings. But the Phillies won the series 2 games out of 3. Big series win for the Phillies. And then, of course, they have the Yankees this weekend.
Probably a sweep. William, let me ask you, best 3-man rotation for Philadelphia this postseason? It's a big question.
Yeah, because they have a lot of pitchers. I think it's Wheeler's obviously your game 1 starter. That's not a debate right now. You got to throw out there Christopher Sanchez in game 2. He's a Cy Young candidate as well. And then as of now, it's probably between Luzardo and Ranger, and you got to make that decision. It's probably whoever's hot down the stretch coming through September into early October. Both haven't had great starts their last times out. I think I would probably lean Luzardo, but or do you just go with the Ranger because he's got more playoff experience than a Luzardo? That's the tough decision is who your game 3 starter is. But I feel like the top 2 are pretty much solidified.
I would take Ranger in my opinion. I think Ranger with the playoff experience, and he's just very, very he's quality, in my opinion. Let's move on to the Detroit-Pittsburgh series. I mean, we didn't talk about Detroit. I mean, we talked about the series, but Detroit, man, they were struggling. They're 1-9 out of their last 10. And like we talked about Detroit regressing to the mean, they're coming down hard. And are they one of those teams? And I think they need to make like a little small move just to like get the energy back into the clubhouse. I'm not saying you have to go make a big fish trade. Just get some new blood, some fresh energy just to get them going for the stretch run, because it would be very unfortunate that the first half that they had, they just throw it away and just become bad for the second half of the season. Like they could be a special team coming down the stretch and into the postseason.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think just a move that signifies that the team is all in on this season. Go out and get, I mean, a top arm. They need some bullpen help. A top bat at this deadline. Yeah, it could inject some life in this team because they've really been struggling in July. Obviously, got swept by Seattle before the trade deadline. Got swept by Pittsburgh this week, and then they had a tough series over last weekend. I can't remember who it was against, but they lost as well. So yeah, 1 win in their last 10 games. And if you look at the month of July, they're just really struggling. They're 27th in OPS. And then if you look at their batting average in the month of July, they're 28th in batting average in the league. And then OBP, not good either, 26th. Slugging, They're 28. So the stats as a team, as a unit, are way down in this month. And, we could have expected that. I think when you looked at the names, just the name value in the lineup heading into the season, and as they were 20 something games over 500, it's like, okay, yeah, I understand they're a good team. They're playing well, but are they as good as the numbers suggested? And I think like you said, we've seen some regression back to the mean with Detroit. I'm not too surprised. I kind of saw this coming, but I think a deadline move for some help would really inject some life in this team. Do I think they're the best team in the American League? I don't know. The pitching feels inconsistent. You got Scooble, who's a lock, but Flaherty's inconsistent. And there's more question marks really behind Scooble in that lineup than I think there were a couple months ago. So do they go out at the deadline and pick up another arm? Remains to be seen. I think there's some work to do with this roster. I don't think they're a fully finished unit. And I don't know. It is some regression to the mean here. And we'll see. I mean, I really would love to see them do well against Toronto this weekend. They got 3 more games in that series. They lost last night 11-4. But yeah, it's not all rainbows and butterflies right now in Detroit. And the good news for them is, of course, they've still got the division wrapped up, in my opinion. They don't need to worry about that. It's really just getting right before the playoffs and pushing for home field advantage in the American League playoffs. But yeah, it's certainly a struggle bus right now for them.
Very much so. Let's run around the league for a couple series that we can talk about quickly. San Francisco, Atlanta. The Giants won 2 out of 3. Monday, the Braves won 9-5. The Braves scored 5 in the first off Hayden Birdsong. And then on Tuesday, Rafi Devers made his debut at first base, coming out of retirement. I am a third baseman playing first base for the first time in his career. Giants won 9-0, and then the Giants won Wednesday 9-3, in which Justin Verlander finally got his first start this year.
First win.
Yeah, first one, excuse me. He'd been going very, very bad. He's been very unlucky, better said, and hasn't been able to get a win, but finally he cracked it. So congrats to the Giants and Braves. In my opinion, the Giants are just kind of middling, above average team. I kind of think they'll be in the hunt for a wild card position, but I don't know. They just don't inspire confidence in me. They're just kind of there right now.
I kind of agree. They're a game back of the Padres in the National League wildcard race for that third wildcard spot. So it'll be a divisional battle for that final spot this season, but they're only 5 games over 500. Devers did hit 2 home runs on Wednesday, so maybe he's starting to heat up. I think that would be huge for that lineup. The rotation it's okay behind Logan Webb. Verlander has been better than the stats indicate. I think you're right, and he was pretty unlucky not to pick up a win until Wednesday. On the whole season, he hadn't had a win. But I just feel like they're kind of meh. The Braves are certainly worse than the Marlins at this point. They're 13 games under 500, 10 games back in the wild card. Like they should sell. They should absolutely sell what they can at the deadline. That there's kind of a season from hell, honestly. And yeah, not a ton from this series, to be honest.
What's crazy is Justin Verlander still doing at age 42. That's the biggest note.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Let's talk about St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals play the Colorado Rockies. Rockies got 2 out of 3. I think this sinks the Cardinals into a confirmed seller at the deadline. Cardinals won the first game Monday night 6-2, but the Rockies won 8-4, and the Rockies won Wednesday 6-0. Cardinals DFA'd Eric Fetty on Wednesday, which I think is the news, kind of signaling that the white flag is out in St. Louis. Do you agree that they've moved for sure sellers after this series? I mean, losing to the Rockies is pretty tough. I don't know.
Rockies are playing good baseball. 2 series wins after the All-Star break. But yeah, I contacted our resident Cardinals fan, Alden Caraway, been on the podcast, and yeah, he thinks they should sell at the deadline after losing the series in Colorado. Like, what can you do? That's just a tough look. I forgot what I was going to say. I just totally blanked on them.
Did you ask him about Helsley? You think Helsley?
That's what it was. Helsley, yeah. There was a report that Helsley is probably going to get moved at the deadline, which, yeah, I think he would be on board with. A lone bright spot for the Cardinals this season, Michael McGreevy, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 1 strikeout on Monday in their win. He's down to a 3.81 ERA on the season. He's got a 3.49 ERA on the season. He's had a couple good starts, against Colorado, against Chicago, had a good start against the Mets. Only 5 on the season, but a young arm in that organization. He's 25 years old. Could be a piece moving forward for them. You also got JJ Weatherholt playing good in AAA in Memphis. I don't think there's any reason really to call him up this season in what could be kind of a lost season for the Cardinals. There's no reason to get the clock started, basically, is my opinion on him. Maybe they'll call him up in September or something. And he can retain that rookie status heading into next year. I think that's the most important thing for them in that organization. They were for sure sellers heading into the season. Arenado, Helsley, some of those arms, maybe a Sonny Gray. And I think they're going to be sellers at the deadline now. What they move remains to be seen. But I don't think this team's going anywhere this year, unfortunately, for Cardinals fans. Just can't lose the series to the Rockies.
You just can't. Tough luck. Mickey Moniak's been playing great. Rockies been playing good ball. Shout out to them. Let's go talk about the Sacramento A's and Texas Rangers. Rangers got the 3-game sweep, winning Monday 7-2. Lawrence Butler had an insane home run robbery in center, but and Nick Kurtz hit another homer. But A's lose again. Factory of sadness out there in Sacramento. Rangers won 6-2. Tuesday, DeGrom went 6, 1 earned, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts on 86 pitches, a 2.28 ERA. And then Wednesday, Rangers won 2-1. Corey Seager went yard. Patrick Corbin had a strong start, going 5 2/3, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts. The Rangers are heating up, William. 8-2 out of their last 10. Do they buy at the deadline, or are they a team that are just cautious? They got an easy schedule for the next 2 weeks. They got Atlanta this weekend at home. They get the Angels next week, and then next week they get a 4-game set versus the Mariners. So they could make a lot of inroads on the division in the next week and a half or so. What do you think?
I think the Rangers have to go all in at this trade deadline. They have the best pitching rotation statistically in all of baseball. They're first in starting pitching ERA. You got DeGrom, who's pitching at a Cy Young level. You got Eovaldi, who's been great. You've had Patrick Corbin, who's been a revelation this season for them in his first year in Texas. Kumar Rocker's had some good starts. Jack Leiter's had some good starts. Like, they got a deep rotation this season. All those guys have really been on fire the last month or so. They have the 3rd ranked bullpen in terms of ERA this season. So they have a strong bullpen. Maybe they need to upgrade at closer. I don't think, they moved Robert Garcia into that role. Maybe he sticks. I don't know, but Luke Jackson certainly wasn't the answer there. They got to upgrade the lineup if they want to really go all in. They're currently sitting 27th in OPS on the season, 28th in batting average, and 29th in OBP. So if you look at a place for them to upgrade, it would be within that lineup. Could they trade for a 3rd baseman? Could they trade for a 1st baseman? I mean, they did bring in Rowdy Tellez this month after he was released by the Mariners. Outfield's kind of been a struggle for them. Like, the lineup is where they need to be looking to upgrade. But I absolutely think the Rangers should go all in. They're a game and a half back right now in the wild card. They're 3 games over 500. They have a good team. They have the pieces there. This is a team that I can see going on a run in October because of the pitching staff. So if they can just make some upgrades to the lineup, yeah, I think Texas should definitely buy at the deadline.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. They just got to hit. Continue going on. Let's go talk about the White Sox. Your home team, your favorite team, the Chicago White Sox. How you feeling about those Chicago White Sox against the Tampa Bay Rays? How you feeling?
I feel great. I'm not a White Sox fan, but they are playing good baseball.
He's a White Sox. He's a White Sox fan. He's just not saying it on the pod. He's just deep down inside. He's like a Marlins fan.
Okay.
You just gotta own it.
They won the series 2 out of 3. They won Monday 8-3. and that marked them being the first team in Major League history to win each of the first 4 games post All-Star break by 5+ runs. The lowly White Sox. You had home runs from Miguel Vargas and Drake Baldwin in that game. Vargas has been pretty good for them this season. The Rays won 4-3 on Tuesday. Colson Montgomery, though, picked up his first career home run for the White Sox. Rays picked up all their 4 runs in the second inning in that game. And then Wednesday, the White Sox won 11-9. Had a first career MLB homer for Kyle Teal, a guy they picked up in the Garrett Crochet trade. And then Colson Montgomery hit his second career home run. You also had home runs from Yanni Diaz and Junior Caminero. Taj Bradley went an inning and 2/3, 4 earned runs, and was optioned to the minor leagues post-game. But yeah, the White Sox are playing good baseball post-deadline. Not much from the series other than the fact that the White Sox are playing good baseball.
I just looked at the standings. The I was thinking about the Rangers, but the Rays are now 8 games back of the division.
Yeah.
It was like a month ago that we were like, oh, the Rays are right there. They're in it. Now they're 8 games back, 3.5 behind the Yankees, a game and a half behind the Sox. They've they won 3 out of their last 10. It's been tough for them. They got the Reds. They got to go to Cincinnati and play the Reds this weekend in Cincy, and then they get the Yankees. So the Rays might be sellers. If they have a bad weekend this weekend and then say the Yankees take 1 or 2, they could be selling.
Yeah, they could be selling. I feel like they're kind of just going to be one of those teams that's doesn't buy, doesn't sell. They kind of just make a few ancillary moves, and it's not much to write home about. They got Cincinnati on the road, then 4 in New York against the Yankees, and then they're hosting the Dodgers for 3 in the beginning of August. So interesting stretch here for the Rays. They're 3rd in batting average on the season, which is crazy. 1st in stolen bases. They're just kind of they're around a 500 ball club, kind of what we expected. They had a good run there in May and June, but they're okay. They're still solid. I don't think they'll sell.
They're in that tough part of the schedule where they're doing all these road games because of the weather.
Yep.
You see, and they tell us not to talk about weather, but weather is important. Baseball is a game that is played outdoors, not indoors. So
this is true.
William, take it away. Your hometown Cubs. Royals won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs this week. Royals won 12-4 Monday. Salvi's been on fire. I know you want to talk about his splits. Tuesday, Cubs won 6-0. Rich Hill made his season debut at 45 years old, with 14 teams tying the record for Edwin Jackson. And then Royals on Wednesday won 8-4. I think biggest takeaways: Salvi's on fire. Matthew Boyd has been a revelation for the Cubs. And then you got to talk about what are the Cubs going to do at third base. I mean, are they going to go get Mr. Suárez? I think putting Suárez in that lineup is just putting a rocket into the Cubs' aspirations for the World Series.
Yeah, I think that's the story coming out of this series. And it's my question to Cubs fans is, are you willing to trade Matt Shaw for a rental in Eugenio Suárez? And the reason I ask is because Matt Shaw has quietly been turning it around of late. If you look at his splits, the last 15 days, which is 24 plate appearances for him, he's hitting .360 with a 1.110 OPS, 3 homers, .360 OBP, 750 slug, hit a 3-run shot over the weekend against Boston. And then in this series, as I look for the series, I know he had a couple home runs. Here we go. He homered on Wednesday, his 5th home run of the season. Like, Shaw's been playing good baseball. He's controllable. He's homegrown. He's a guy you drafted a few years ago. Are you willing to trade Matt Shaw for Suárez in a rental? The thought of a Eugenio Suárez in the Cubs lineup is terrifying because it's already one of the most terrifying lineups in all of baseball. If you throw another MVP candidate in there behind PCA and Tucker and Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki, one of the most underrated power bats in all of baseball, like, that lineup becomes nuclear. But who knows if they re-sign him in the offseason? It's a 3-month thing. It certainly shoots you into World Series contender or almost World Series favorite. So I think maybe I'm answering my own question. I would probably do it, but I do think there is some talent in Shaw. He's a good defensive third baseman. He's starting to hit. I think there's a player there. So I'm curious for Cubs fans. Do you think would you be willing to trade Shaw for Suarez? It'd be Shaw and other stuff, not just Shaw straight up. Maybe a couple top prospects for Suarez. I think I would do the trade, but I'm curious what Cubs fans think on that one. And then, Matthew Boyd, he's pitching at a Cy Young level. I mean, coming out of nowhere, age 34 season, he's down to a 2.20 ERA. He only pitched 8 games last year, but he was at a 2.72 ERA. He doesn't walk people. Really good walk rate. K rate's pretty strong. I think like every game I've gone to watch the Cubs this season, he's been pitching. And another great start for him this series against the Royals, but it was a series loss. So I'll give my love to Salvi now. In July, he's hitting 368 with a 1.264 OPS, 9 home runs, 19 ribbies, 6 doubles. Last 7 days, he's hitting 435 for batting average. He's up to 18 home runs on the season, 765 OPS. He's turned things around in Kansas City. That lineup's really been struggling. He's been providing some pop for them. I still think they should sell. Seth Lugo had a good start on Wednesday, 6 innings, 2 earned runs against a good lineup, of course. PCA homered, number 27 on the season. But Salvi's on fire. Interesting discussion at third base for the Cubs. What do they do moving forward? I think they should go all in and get Suarez, to be honest. And shout out to Matthew Boyd, who's been great. And Rich Hill, too.
Rich Hill, immaculately good beast.
Yeah, definitely.
Will be interesting to see what they do with Seth Lugo. I'm interested to see where he ends up. I think he'll definitely get moved. One of the biggest locks of the deadline.
I think you're right.
So he pitched pretty. He pitches pretty well. Pitched on Wednesday, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. I think he'll be a really good number 3 pitcher for a playoff team in need. Maybe if he's a Mets guy, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, the Mets. Let's talk about them. They just swept the Angels, winning 7-5 on Monday, 3-2 on Tuesday, and 6-3 on Wednesday. Sean Manaea was great on Wednesday. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Lindor snapped his 0-for-31 streak on Wednesday. And you also had the Cody Senga awful start of the year. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. But I mean, the Mets doing what great teams do. And I know it hurts for me to say Mets and great, but great teams, good teams win series, great teams sweep. And that's what we're doing here. We are sweeping the bad teams in the Angels.
Yeah, 2 saves from Edwin Diaz in this series. He's up to 21 on the season. You did have home run number 18 for Mike Trout on the season. He's 4 away from 400 career home runs. But Alonso and Nimmo went yard on Wednesday for the Mets win there. Francisco Alvarez is back, had a big home run on Tuesday, his 4th of the season. Nimmo, RBI single in the 5th was the difference in that game. Juan Soto had a nice outfield assist to get Nolan Schanuel at home. The Angels are just a bad defensive team. Moncada had a throwing error in a key spot in the Monday game in the 8th inning that gave the Mets the win. Senga did struggle, but the Mets are playing good baseball. They're a half game up in the National League East, and that could be one of our only division races this year. It could be a fun one. I think both of those teams are pretty evenly matched. The Mets have the Giants on the road this weekend, and then the Padres. So they're on a West Coast swing right now. We'll see.
They got Sunday night baseball this week, so we'll be interested to watch them on Sunday night. Let's go to talk about the Nationals and Reds. The Reds played the Nationals. Nationals got 2 out of 3 off the Reds. The Reds have not been swept all season. And there's another team that has not been swept.
Don't say it.
And I won't say it.
We'll leave that for the listeners in the comments. Let us know who you think the other team that has not been swept this season is.
I'll guess the Columbus Explorers. That's my guess.
Okay.
That's my guess. But Monday, the Nationals won 10-8. Brady Singer had a rough start, 2 innings and a third, 7 earned, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Multi-hit games for the Nationals for James Wood, Bell, Brady House. Kyle Finnegan wasn't great in the 9th. He's been struggling. not the time to struggle. Nationals won 6-1 Tuesday. Chase Burns continues to struggle, struck out 10, but gave up 5. And then Wednesday, Nick Lodolo with the complete game, 4 hit, 8 strikeouts. Talk about it, William. 2 teams that I kind of feel like they're just in the middle of the mix. And I feel like, again, I'll say this, I feel like the Reds are bound to make a move. I feel like they're going to be one of those teams that will make a move at the deadline. They'll be like, well, why are the Reds making a move? I think it's time for them to push the chips in and make a move and start making winning moves to start building for the franchise.
Yeah, I want to see the Reds make some buyers moves at this trade deadline. Lodolo did have that complete game shutout on Wednesday to salvage the series. Yeah, not a ton. I mean, Brady Singer, I picked him up in fantasy for his start on Monday, and of course, he got absolutely shelled. Jacob Young, for the center fielder for the Nationals, had an insane home run robbery in the Wednesday game. Him and Denzel Clark could be the 2 next great defensive center fielders. Young, 25-year-old, went to Florida for college. He's got 8 outs above average this season in center field. He is like, every time I see this dude, he's running into the wall, making insane catches. Like, he's really fun to watch. So don't forget the name Jacob Young. He's one to watch moving forward. I do think a potential outfield of Dylan Cruz, Jacob Young, and James Wood. Don't know how you work that out defensively, but that could actually be something there in Washington. And then, yeah, Reds, Chase Burns, like, it feels like he's a young power arm that's struggling to figure out commands. Maybe he needs to expand his pitch mix. The explosivity, the power is there with him. He's just got to kind of fine tune his game a little bit, but he's still super young. Like, rookie, first few starts, I still see something there in Burns. It's way too early to be out on him or anything.
Correct. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee played Seattle this week. The streak snapped, but they stayed hot, winning 2 out of 3. Brewers won 6-0 on Monday. Brewers didn't get a hit till the 6th inning, and George Kirby was elite, retiring 16 of his first 17 batters. Christian Yelich has a 27-game on base streak. That was 11 straight, but then they came back to earth Tuesday where the Mariners won 1-0. Cal Raleigh with the solo shot, and the Brewers win streak snap, but they started again Wednesday. Brewers won 10-2. Quinn Priester has been one of the most underrated moves of the MLB offseason. 7 innings pitched, 2 earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. William, let me just ask you the question. Who do you want the Brewers to trade for at the deadline to chase the big boys like the Cubs and the Dodgers?
That's a tough question because they're just playing good baseball right now. I don't feel like they should touch it. I mean, I don't think they need any help in that rotation. The only thing that maybe concerns me a little bit is they're limiting Jacob Misiorowski, which I understand. But, he's a young arm, power arm. Those type of arms tend to get hurt earlier on in their careers. But, he only pitched, 64 pitches on Tuesday, 3 2/3. I don't know why. I mean, they're clearly limiting him. Maybe you do actually go out and trade for another arm. Brandon Woodruff's been really good since coming back. 6 innings, no earned runs, 62 pitches. So they're still kind of working him back, but he's been quite good. Got Freddie Peralta in that rotation. So I don't think you really need any help in the rotation. Maybe you go out and get some bullpen help. I mean, you're not trading for an infielder. You got Terang, maybe like a first baseman, but Andrew Vaughn's been so good for them since coming over. I like Durbin, Ortiz, and Terang across that infield. Outfield, Yelich, Churio, and Isaac Collins. Like, maybe you go for a right fielder and replace Isaac Collins, but Collins has been pretty good for them of late. They do need like a DH, so I think that's a position of weakness. I don't know what there is going to be on the market in terms of that position, but you could go for a DH. That's maybe the one place I'd circle, but they're just playing such good baseball. It's hard to really say you need to upgrade in this position. He was optioned by the White Sox or by the Red Sox in March of 2025, and then they traded him to the Brewers for Yofri Rodriguez and a player to be named later and a draft pick. So, yeah, trade of the offseason, arguably. Cal Raleigh picked up his 39th home run in this series. most home runs in the first 5 MLB seasons in Mariners history, tying Ken Griffey Jr., who had 132 homers in 734 games. Raleigh hit that 132 mark in 563 games. So Raleigh, power bat, stud.
Good list to be a part of. But you know who I think the Brewers should get?
Who?
Ozuna from the Braves as a DH.
Ooh. That's
a
good.
Whoa. Pause with the hand motions. They're like, yeah. If you're watching it, you weren't doing this. It's a little different. Pause.
I was doing like the Zidane celebration.
But I couldn't see it. It was like,
sorry.
Yeah. But if you're watching, but Ozuna from the Braves.
That would be a nice pickup for them, for sure.
That's why I put my finger like that. Ozuna from the Braves. But Brewers stay hot. Another hot team are Cleveland Guardians, winning 3 out of 4 from Baltimore. Yeah. Guardians won 10-5 on Monday. J-Ram was another 2020 season. It's his 7th of his career. Guardians won Tuesday 6-3. Wednesday they won 3-2, and then the Orioles got the win yesterday 4-3. Quan had a 2-homer game last night, but Jackson Holliday leads the Orioles in homers at 14. Angel Martinez is on fire. Cleveland is now 7-3 in their last 10 days. We're 8-2 in their last 10, but now 7-3. Cleveland's getting hot again. They're playing spoiler at the deadline again. Orioles allowing the Guardians to win, which is bad for the deadline. Now the Guardians will not be inclined to sell.
Yeah, they won't sell. I saw that the Cubs have interest in Clase, which is kind of interesting because Daniel Palencia, I thought, it's been a pretty good closer for them. And I don't think the Guardians are selling at this point, to your point. Angel Martinez sitting 307 with a 928 OPS in the month of July with 4 homers, 13 ribbies, and a stolen base. So, yeah, he's been playing good baseball for the Guards. J-Ram continues to be most underrated player in the league, despite now probably not being underrated. Just I feel like he's kind of the guy that everyone points to as being the most underrated player. So maybe he's not underrated at this point. But yeah, good win for the Guardians. They are definitely throwing a wrench in this year's trade deadline. I think Quan will stay. Clase will probably end up staying. They got the Royals this weekend, and then and then Colorado in the midweek, and then Minnesota. So the easy schedule kind of rolls on for them, to be honest. They're at 500 right now. Could definitely push for a wild card. 8 games back in the Central. Maybe we don't say that division's over just yet with Detroit struggles and the Guardians playing good baseball.
But you just said it was over.
I know. I just said it's over. I do think it is over, but
is it Jover?
Everyone wrote off the Tigers last year, and they end up making the playoffs. So we'll see.
Are you gonna say some Geno Smith comment like, "Oh, they wrote me off, but I ain't right back"?
He had another great quote this week about playing in Vegas. I can't remember what it was exactly.
It was like I came to play the dice. I didn't come here to roll dice. I came here to play the dice, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It was a good quote.
Finally, let's go out to LA. Again, I'm uninspired. Again, nobody wants to talk about the issues in LA, but they played the Twins. The Twins are awful. Twins haven't won a series in Dodger Stadium.
Ever.
Monday. Yeah, ever. Monday, Dodgers won 5-2. Ohtani pitched 3 innings, 1 earned, 3 strikeouts, and 46 pitches. He had a homer in that game for 3 in a row. Tanner Smith got placed on the IL with a hamstring injury after the game. He got hurt in the 9th. Yeah, Tanner Scott. And then James Outman robbed Correa of a tying home run for the last out of the game. But then Tuesday, Twins won 10-7. Kanye with another homer and 4 in a row. Duran gave up 2 earned and 2 innings pitched. And then Yamamoto went 5 strong, 1 earned, 8 strikeouts, and 101 pitches. That was on Tuesday. And then finally on Wednesday, Ohtani, another home run, 5 straight, tied the longest streak in Dodger franchise history, winning 4-3. Again, Twins are pesky, gave them all they can give, but the Dodgers came back at the end and won. Freddie Freeman walked off 2 RBI single, Griffin Jack's blown save. Again, very uninspired with the Dodgers. They're going to make a move. It's just who. I'm just uninspired by that team in general.
Okay. I mean, Ohtani's ramping up. He's at 3 innings. Tyler Glasnow has been really good since returning. He was
He's been-
elite on Wednesday. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts, only 1 walk. I'm not worried about the Dodgers. Ohtani's homered in 5 straight games. It's tied for the longest streak in Dodgers franchise history. He's ramping up. He's going to be at full go come the playoffs, assuming he continues to move along. Issues with the bullpen. Tanner Scott injured. Ben Kasparius left the game. So they keep losing dudes in the bullpen. Rotation's getting healthier. Blake Snell's coming back in August. So this team will be right where they need to be come October, and they'll be firing on all cylinders.
They keep struggling. I mean, I don't know. Mookie Betts is struggling. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
we'll see.
That wraps up this week in baseball. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Again, we'll come up with our weekend review, either Saturday night or Monday morning. Again, keep it locked in. Make sure you follow. We'll follow. Oh, so what I'm saying Sunday night.
We're definitely not doing it Saturday night. That's for sure.
I said so. I said, yeah.
I think you said Saturday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I said Sunday. No, I'm still at the bachelor party. I'll be back in Miami Sunday.
Okay.
We will be recording Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yes.
Yeah. So keep it locked. Make sure follow us on YouTube. Give us that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 150 followers now by the end of the year. Again, make sure you follow us on the TikTok. Exclusive content coming out. Williams branching into new avenue lanes on TikTok. Doing a little bit of a Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony voiceover clip. Whatever. Instagram, make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, on any social media platforms. Be Locked In Sports Podcast. Again, thank you guys for listening. William, also follow the Substack. He has an article coming soon.
Yeah, thanks for that, Luis. The Substack article is totally coming soon. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Trade deadline keeps getting closer, so we're excited. I feel like another deal is going to go down this weekend while Luis is at his bachelor party. Luis, enjoy the weekend. Stay safe.
100%. I guarantee you tonight there will be another trade. I will be somewhere and I will have to step out and start reading and preparing for this. So guarantee it.
So we'll be back Sunday night, Monday morning. Luis, come back in one piece.
I am in one piece, but also I'm not getting married. So like you said, like the listeners, I'm not getting married. Like some people could think like, oh, it's his bachelor party. No. It's my buddies. I'm here for moral support. I'm the designated driver. We're being safe. I'll be fine.
All right. Love it. Enjoy it. We'll be back as we get closer to the deadline. So excited for this next week of baseball. It's going to be huge. Yankees, I don't know. We'll just see what happens with them this weekend. I'm going to try not to pay or not to get too emotionally invested and go in with low expectations. Nonetheless, that wraps it up. Luis, thanks as always. And listeners, thanks as always for listening. What?
Also, our trade deadline, fantasy baseball trade line, August 1st, 12 p.m.
Yeah. That is also true.
That's a big trade deadline. Are we going to make any deadline moves? Is the dictator of dingers going to make any moves?
It's hard trading with you. It's always tough negotiations. You drive a hard bargain.
I do. They call me I don't know. I'm kind of like who would I be at MLB terms of GMing, like teams, like negotiation wise?
Dombrowski? I don't know.
No, I'm Craig Breslow.
Oh God. Okay.
Streamlining of baseball operations process, but thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Make sure you follow us again. Thank y'all.
That is it. Talk later. Bye.